There are widespread scenes of utter devastation in southeast Turkey and northern Syria after a huge earthquake and series of aftershocks hit the area. The 7.8 magnitude quake first struck in the early hours of the morning, flattening buildings and trapping thousands. The death toll in both countries has so far risen to more than 2,300, with many more injured and an unknown number still trapped.
Aftershocks have been hitting through the day, leading to scenes of chaos as more buildings turn to rubble. And rescuers are working through the night in a desperate search for anyone who might still be alive under those buildings. We begin our coverage this morning with our Middle East correspondent Tim Joyner in Istanbul.
The enormous scale of the damage caused by yesterday's earthquake has only grown overnight, with Turkish rescue teams continuing their hunt for survivors in towns and cities right across the south of this country. The 7.8 magnitude quake happened just after 4 in the morning, followed by several aftershocks. In both Türkiye and across the border in Syria, the death toll has sharply climbed hour upon hour, along with the number of injured. Thousands of buildings, including entire apartment blocks, have been destroyed, their floors crushing people who were sleeping when the tremor struck. While rescuers have worked through the night and day and now night again, they faced heavy rains, snow and freezing conditions. They hope to find people who remain trapped under the twisted metal and crumbling concrete of partially collapsed structures. Over on the Syrian side of the border, hundreds more have been killed. The area affected by the quake is home to millions of vulnerable displaced Syrians who have had their lives torn apart by more than 11 years of civil war. Some buildings destroyed there had been previously wrecked by the bombardment in the fighting. The earthquake is the worst disaster in Türkiye since 1939, according to the country's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Deprem bölgesindeki
We do not know how far the number of dead and injured will rise as debris removal works continue in many buildings in the quake zone. Our hope is that we will recover from this disaster with the least loss of life. We have received several calls for international aid to our country. Offers of assistance from 45 countries, including NATO and the European Union, have reached us.
Around the world, dozens of countries have offered their help and support for those affected by the earthquakes. Both Ukraine and Russia say they're on standby if need be, while countries like Spain and Poland are already mobilising rescue teams. For now, though, there's every expectation that the number of casualties will only rise.
And that is the great fear. Good morning to everyone watching. We are covering this story extensively this morning. These are live pictures coming in from Diyarbakir. One of the many areas of Turkey flattened by this earthquake. Of course, many parts of Syria, the northern part of that country, also affected. The death toll well over 2,000. And as Tom was saying there, Lisa, looking at these pictures and all the other information coming into us, sadly, and with a number of injured, close to 10,000, that death toll will rise.
The weather conditions are going to be very difficult. It's heading into the very late hours of the day, around 10 p.m. There at the moment. And while rescue crews are rushing in, they are going to be up against it.
We'll be speaking to members of the Turkish community here in Australia. We're told they'll be having prayers at 1 o'clock this afternoon. A bit later in the show, Turkey's ambassador to Australia joins us.